Nice. 15. Testing the microphone so I can make sure that I sound good. What's up, Annex Family? If you're not familiar with me, welcome to the Annex Family. I'm your host, Big Tim, and by my side I have Lil Tim. If you've seen my videos before, you know who Lil Tim is. But I just want to welcome you all to a quick review on Kingdom Come Deliverance. Full disclaimer, this review is based on the knowledge I have from my playthrough I just finished. Please see the title card or check the description of the video for a full playlist of my adventure through the game. This video may go into spoiler territory, so I want to give everybody a warning. If you want to play through Kingdom Come Deliverance blind, please click off the video. I'll give everybody 10 seconds. Uno, dos, tres, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Alright. I will go over a few points that should be addressed when talking about Kingdom Come Deliverance, and they are as follows. Point 1. First impressions. Point 2. Immersion. And point 3. Gameplay. Without further ado, Annex Family, and members of the Annex crew, let's get started. I will be the first to admit, to my detriment, that many games that I have played over the years have failed to hold my attention after a really bad first impression. Rarely do I continue to push myself through it. Oh god, that was so good. Games like Yakuza 0, Far Cry 5. Honestly, with the exception of Yakuza 0, you could put any of Ubisoft's games here, in general, to be honest. Yakuza 0 is the exception, as I pushed myself through that game, and now Yakuza has turned out to be one of my favorite video game series of all time, as I can always boot one of them up, whether it be on my PS4 or PC, and have fun. One thing I didn't realize until 2 hours into the game was that Kingdom Come Deliverance default controller settings basically made it so I couldn't jump or draw my bow or my sword, which led to some very frustrating early game moments, like getting stuck on geometry like you see here, or frustratingly dying because I couldn't draw my weapon. Now, I know this is a bit off track, but I need to talk about lockpicking. Lockpicking is honestly one of the worst mechanics I have ever experienced in a first-person shooter. Like, how do I put it into words? I guess it would be like trying to keep something steady and moving. So it's moving and it's steady, but there's this wobble that's basically fidgeting with your lockpick that makes the lock break super fast. And that's really honestly the best way I can describe it. I tried not to lockpick anything after the first 2 times that the game really incentivizes it. But I want to talk about the combat a little bit more. It's one of those mechanics that is very off-putting to understand at the beginning of the game. There's a reason behind that. At the beginning of the game, you don't have the ability to feel out the actual combat for what it is, because you don't have 2 basic game mechanics. You do not have the perfect block and the sidestep. At the beginning of the game, you're just having to deal with getting your ass whipped while trying your hardest to block in the direction of their attacks. But you can't stop their combos until you get those skills. But I know these points that I've said so far can be seen as negative. And to a degree, they are. I may be jumping the gun on this point, but the one thing I fell in love with, which was pretty much the whole reason why I pushed myself through the game, was I am a huge sucker when it comes to the era of knights and nobles. This game does a great job of placing you in that world, filled with bandits and corrupt nobles, along with knights as well as corrupt knights. Kingdom Come Deliverance is really good at making you understand exactly what the structure of the society's totem pole was back then. Starting off as a mere blacksmith's boy, which is pretty much a peasant, it really makes you want to rise the rank, because at the beginning you're punched down so often that you really want to show those people above you that you are not just a weakling and you can't defend yourself. It gives you a goal to achieve right away, even if it isn't straight out expressed to you. With that in mind, let's go ahead and jump into the world building, or the immersion. As I said in the first impressions part of this video not too long ago, Kingdom Come Deliverance does a great job of placing you in this world. They put you at the bottom, but at the same time, they slowly give you the tools you need to prove to everyone else that you are more than just a blacksmith or a peasant, however you want to look at it. Sure, at the beginning of the game, you have no money, no fighting skills, barely any normal skills that would be seen today, such as reading and cooking and medicine. I mean, I guess not everybody knows how to do medicine. You need to manage two things in this game: your hunger level and your rest, or your energy meter. Failing to maintain either will lead to Henry, the main character, passing out or lowering his max stamina to the point where you can barely swing a weapon, let alone, can't even say that, let alone sprint or pull an arrow back in a bow. However, it becomes easier to manage as time goes on, as the game provides you with basically stat bonuses that once you get a certain level in a certain category, you can get certain skills at certain levels of that skill. Speaking of the skills, there are some really interesting ways to get into the game, like learning how to read so that you can dabble in potion making, which is one of the most unique points of Kingdom Come Deliverance. Or you can sharpen your archery skills so you can become a poacher and friends to thieves by bringing them thousands and thousands worth of pounds in meat of wild game to build up your bank. With a bigger bank in this game comes better armor and weapons. However, keep in mind that the weapons that you do have in offer have a mandatory stat level to use them. The world in Kingdom Come Deliverance is built in such a way that allows for varying playstyles and adventure seeking. You may even find love on your travels. Everything from city and village design to woodland areas filled with wild animals and trails used as traps and ambush spots by many of the local bandits. Now, keep in mind that during my playthrough, I was basically a mix between I stole animals from the king's grounds, so I basically became a poacher, and then I slowly worked my way up with armor and weapons to become a knight. I have no idea how this game plays, trying to be anything sort of like a rogue or lightweight armor. I have no idea how the game is in that case. It might be fun, it might not be. I have not experienced that. And because Kingdom Come Deliverance has all these things, bandits, marauders, is it marauders or marauders? Or fuck it, it's my god, you get what I'm trying to say. It feels flourishing. It honestly makes you feel like you live during this time period. There's people walking the trails, there's people, well, later in the game, people that challenge you to a one-on-one sword fight, like mercenaries. And I came across this one guy in particular whose mom made him become a knight because his dad was, and the kid has no inkling to do it. Feeling Henry grow as you train in all areas of skills makes you feel like you're constantly being rewarded. Stuff like swordsmanship practice, archery practice, potion making, hunting, what else? Even like maintaining your armor and your clothes. You get levels for almost everything you do, even drinking alcohol. But since we're on the topic of training and skills, I really want to jump into the gameplay. We talked a little bit about gameplay in the previous points, but I want to jump into that fully now, because that will be probably the driving factor in whether or not you're interested in this game. Oh my god. When you think gameplay, the first thing that comes to my mind is usually, how am I moving around? How am I fighting things? Am I fighting things? Am I planting crops? Am I becoming a knight? Am I shooting? You guys get it, right? Am I gonna platform like Mario? Am I gonna cut shit up like Link in puzzles? I don't know. What you're gonna actually spend most of the time doing in Kingdom Come Deliverance is combat. Combat and a mixture of horse riding and the two together, basically. I previously mentioned in the immersion point of this video that the combat system can be very hard to wrap your head around in the beginning, mostly in part to being a shitty swordsman. Near the first 5-ish or so hours of the game, at least for me, not being able to do basic dodge and parry maneuvers really sucked, and not knowing those existed, I just kept getting my ass kicked. And not to mention the controller's not exactly helping me out. Annex Family, Annex crew, everybody watching, let me put it to you like this. If you're looking at Kingdom Come Deliverance and you're hoping for a power fantasy that takes place during the Knights and Nobles time, you unfortunately won't find it here. I have found videos of people getting overpowered by doing exploits at the beginning of the game, but throw 3 or 4 people at you at once like the game likes to do, and you can be easily overtaken. And the reason why, which I'll go into in a second, is that reason. During combat, Henry can get hurt during the fight in certain ways, depending on where he's hit or how hard he's hit, or the armor that you're wearing, actually. You can get cut during the fights where you start to slowly bleed out, which drains your health really fast unless you put bandages on it. You can break bones, which lower the cap of your stamina meter or your health meter. And I think there are some cases where, at least with me, I've instantly just died from getting hit in like the head without armor. With Kingdom Come Deliverance and being injured, it takes time to heal. Sure, there are certain potions in the game that can raise your health, but if my memory fails me, which it usually does, you'll have to let me know in the comments if you guys know about this game. You can't heal your injuries with potions. I think it just takes time. Usually by sleeping, reading a book, waiting, or you could go to the local bathhouse to fix up those wounds and get laid and get a cut. The game really shines in its 1v1 encounters, where it feels like a life and death duel with your adversary, and you slowly get new skills like learning how to do certain combos and making yourself stronger so you can get into those clinches and win those clinches, so that you can do like a grapple where you can set up like a combo, or you can land a hit, or in certain cases if you get them stuck, you can just keep the game by going for another grapple and then another grapple and another grapple or another grapple or another grapple. To take a step back from the close encounter part of Kingdom Come Deliverance, I want to talk about its range aspect, so it's archery. It's one of the skills in the game that at the beginning is very confusing because it doesn't have a reticule and it doesn't tell you where the arrow is going to go. You have to shoot the arrow, or you tend to find a piece of Henry's body that his arm lines up with, and then you can find out his point of aim there. But the more the more that you do it, the more you and Henry do it, I should say, the more proficient that Henry becomes with it. Sometimes you need only 2 shots to find their point of aim, And then when you get better and better at it, you might not even need to find your point of aim at all. You might just be able to hit your targets. Now, I won't be going into too much detail when it comes to the weapons, but you have a lot to choose from in terms of maces, axes, long swords and short swords, hunting swords, all that good stuff. But that's something that you guys will have to experience for yourself if what I've told you so far is something that you guys are interested in. But that's all I got for you guys when it comes to what I've learned from my experience with Kingdom Come Deliverance in my playthrough, with my knowledge that I have. I just want to remind members of the Annex family and the Annex crew, and you watching, if you're watching, you're already part of the Annex crew. If you're at all interested in what I've told you in these points, then check it out. It's normally on sale a lot of the time now that the game is older, but do keep in mind that, like every game, it's not for everybody. Kingdom Come Deliverance fits, in my opinion, a very niche kind of first-person shooter experience. Well, Annex family and Annex crew, thank you so much for hanging out with this video. If you made it all the way through, it was kind of an off-the-beat guerrilla style. What is it? It's, how could I call it? It's like a guerrilla style post playthrough before you buy video, I guess is the best way to put it. Not exactly the most eloquent, but is that the word? Eloquent? Eloquent. Is it? Oh shit. I gotta sneeze. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you want to become a member of the Annex family today, all you gotta do, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, leave a comment. I read them all. I like to respond to your guys' comments. It lets me know what you guys are thinking. It might even help me with my inspiration when it comes to certain video topics. If you don't want to subscribe, totally understand. All you gotta do, leave a like and a comment and I'll forgive you. Wink wink and nudge nudge. As my buddy says, kick in the neck. I hope you members of the Annex family and the Annex crew have a good rest of your day or night, depending on when you decide to watch this. I will see you in the next video. See you later.
My work here is done. Until I am back and once again to help my friends. This is goodbye for now. I will return.